against firearms. I've been getting some requests about problems with guns jamming and how to correct or prevent that problem. Well, I'm going to tell you all something that a lot of you aren't going to want to hear, but most of the time a gun jamming is not a problem with the gun. It's a problem with the user, and it's user error or user fault. Now, I know that's going to sit hard with some of you. No one wants to admit that, hey, I don't know how to shoot a gun, or I have a problem shooting a gun. It's got to be the gun's problem. Just like sights, people think they need adjustable sights to shoot a gun properly. No, you got to hold it properly and pull the trigger properly. Then you don't have to change sights around to match your problems. So, with no further ado, let's do this. Okay. Let's first talk about some of the issues of why a gun may jam. First and simplest, and not most common, but least common, is shooting limp-wristed, meaning holding the gun very loosely. Some people do that because the recoil isn't generated through their body and through their arm. Some people just do it because it's comfortable for them. But shooting a gun limp-wristed, the reason that could cause a jam is the energy used to cycle the firearm is now being absorbed by your limp wrist or your soft grip, leaving not enough energy to operate the handgun. That's the simple reason why sometimes you'll hear the expression, you're shooting it limp-wristed, and that's why it's jamming. The easiest way to know if that's the case is you hand the gun to somebody else, they go boom, 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 no problems. You pick it up and go boom, boom, click. Hey, I got a stovepipe, or hey, I got a feed problem. Okay, that's the least common, but it's the easiest to fix. It's just a matter of adjusting your grip. Okay, now let's get into the more technical issues of why a gun jams, where it is sort of the fault of the firearm, but it still comes down to the user. The first one, which is the biggest abuse, is not breaking in the gun properly. You know if you have to break in the gun by reading your manual. Manuals are written not just for fun, but for a reason. Every gun has its little idiosyncrasies, and to combat them, the gun manufacturers come up with a manual. Part of the things within the manual are disclaimers, like safety disclaimers, which you can read, but once you read one of them, it's like reading all of them, but you should still read them. I'm not going to tell you not to. But there are disclaimers in there about the use of the firearm and how to break it in. For instance, Kel-Tecs, all those little 380 Kel-Tecs, if you don't put 250 rounds through it, you are going to find your gun jams. After you put 250 rounds of ball ammo through the gun, your pistol, all of the parts that move inside of it, and the ramp are sufficiently worn and best way to call it is polished. So after that it will perform properly. Every gun should be cleaned thoroughly and lubricated properly before shooting it, except Glock or some other guns that may say or within its manual, that's why you want to read it. Glock, if you open one up before you ever shoot it, you'll notice a goldish, it's more like a copper-colored paste in there. That is actually a break-in formula. It's there to break in the gun properly, so you don't want to remove that. You don't want to clean a Glock before you shoot it. You want to shoot it and break it in with that stuff in there. And you want to follow the instructions, of course. What causes jams to start occurring on a gun that you've been firing or you've broken in properly? Well, even though you may think you've broken in a gun properly, using the right ammunition, I suggest Winchester White Box. That's what most of the gun companies use, is Winchester White Box. But what I would suggest when you break in a gun is using Winchester White Box, and then, of course, afterwards, I'm going to open one gun up here so I can show you parts on there. Okay, after breaking in a gun properly, sometimes there's an issue. If you didn't use Winchester White Box, if you used another brand, it may be fine. Or, if it's not, it could have caused some divots in your ramp. Now, this is the barrel from a PT-145 Taurus, and I'm using this because it shows very well a full ramp attached right to the breech of this gun, or I should say the chamber of the gun. So that should be totally polished, nice and slick. Sometimes taking it out, when it's this easy, you could just take it out, putting on a pair of reading glasses, a magnifier. As you can see, there's some striations caused in there by the ammunition you used. So polishing that out is the answer, and the answer to polishing is either put in some Winchester White Box ball ammo and shooting a couple hundred rounds. If that doesn't do it and you still have the issue, you may have to bring it to a gunsmith and have him polish it, unless you're gutsy and want to do it yourself with a Dremel. But I highly suggest you bring it to someone who knows what they're doing. Polishing it is just removing excess metal. Removing metal is no longer polishing it, and that can cause the gun to malfunction and not feed properly, ergo more jamming. The other thing is ammunition. Big part of jams is ammunition. Not every gun likes every ammunition. The original 1911 ACP-45 was designed to shoot that one round of 45 ACP hardball ammo. Wasn't meant to shoot anything else. It was designed for the military. When the public started getting their hands on that gun and started reloading their own ammunition, and other ammunition started coming out on the market, and hollow points made a big splash, all of a sudden you're trying to shoot ammunition that has not been designed to shoot out of that barrel. This is a 45 ACP barrel, and that little lip right there and the top part is intricate, is very important in the feeding of the ammo. The way the ammo goes in and gets kicked back down and goes in straight. If any of those parts are not widened properly by the gun manufacturer, you can get certain jams. So sometimes you just can't shoot the ammunition you want out of your gun. The easiest thing is to find an ammunition your pistol likes and that you feel comfortable with. It's called a compromise, and use that ammo. I've had people bring in their gun, say, this gun jams, I can't shoot it. I've tried all different ammo, and all different ammo is all different of the same brand. Well, change the brand, all of a sudden the gun is shooting perfectly. If you need to shoot a particular brand of ammo, find a gun that works on that ammo. Me personally, I go for the gun and worry about finding the right ammo for that gun. So that's, for the most part, why guns will jam. Oh, very important, another thing. That is your magazine. Slamming that magazine into a gun looks great on TV. It has a very dramatic sound, and it feels really cool to do. Get over it and stop doing it. Most common cause of jams, other than a divot in a ramp, is bent fingers or distorted magazine. If this magazine gets distorted because you slammed it into the magazine well, or thrown it around like because you don't think the magazines are that important, that's a major cause of jams. Also, weak springs. Keeping a magazine loaded for 3, 4, 5 weeks, 5 months, that's destroying that spring. If you're getting jams when you get to the 4th, 5th, or 6th round, you're getting stacked feeds or stovepiping or some sort of jams, look to your magazine, okay? There's a good chance that the spring in it is weakened. Change out the spring. What I do is I have a couple of magazines for my gun, and every 3 days I empty a magazine, let it rest, and fill up one of the others and put it in there. So that's my answer to that. So all in all, that's the reasons you get jams. Like I said, it's mostly user error. User error in the sense that you didn't break the gun in properly, you mishandled the magazine, you're limp wristing it, you're using improper ammo. You can argue, well, that's really all the mechanical things, so it's really not my fault. Unless you try different things to fix it and get it fixed yourself, it falls down to your error. If you figure it all out, then it's no longer a user error. It's a user accomplishment. So get accomplished, go out and shoot and have some fun, and break in those guns properly, find the right ammunition that fits your needs, and go on and go shooting. So, from Alan, at Alan's Firearms, wishing you happy shooting. And thanks for listening.